Mr. Chidambaram, welcome to Times Network. We speak after a fair bit of time's passage, but we speak at a time when some people say an inflection point has come in India's politics, and many commentators writing it. Yesterday, one paper wrote that the government should look back in the mirror and see its position vis-a-vis its claims apropos democracy in this country, particularly because it's hosting G20 right now. Before I get into the party politics, before I get into the legalese, you are a master of that, I wish to ask you one thing. You've been a parliamentarian for decades. You've been Home Minister, Finance Minister of this country. Probably the highest chairs that this country accords to a parliamentarian or a politician. How do you weigh this, Mr. Chidambaram, what is happening right now? Of course, it is not happening for the first time, but how do you weigh what has happened in the last week in the parliament with the disqualification of Mr. Gandhi?
Let me begin by asking you to keep the emergency out. The emergency was an aberration, and I think the Srimati Indira Gandhi and the Congress party have acknowledged it was an aberration. So keep that out. Barring the emergency, this is the first time in India we're going through a phase of near autocracy. As I said, barring the emergency. Now, I have been in Parliament since 1984, and I've never witnessed a period of time when there is such a cynical approach to Parliament by the government. In my view, the top leadership of the government simply does not care for Parliament, or their view of Parliament is a very different body that simply stamps whatever the executive does, like in many other countries. Parliament is a place for debate. Court is a place for inquiry, investigation, adjudication. Parliament represents the old Greek ideal of a public square, where Plato and Aristotle and others met and debated. Now, we can't have public squares in India anymore, although there is in the village today, the village chowk, which is a public square. Parliament is the replica of a public square. And in that public square is silent. Silent in the sense that there is a lot of noise, but there is no debate. And who is instigating the noise? It's the Treasury benches. I've heard Arun Jaitley say obstructionism is part of legitimate parliamentary tactics. The present rulers have taken it a step beyond. Obstructionism by the Treasury benches is part of legitimate parliamentary tactics. It's a very, very sad period for India.
That's the summation you make, Mr. Chidambaram. The fact is that Treasury will say that Mr. Gandhi went out of the country. Of course, this is not the only time when the Treasury has probably disturbed the proceedings. But in this particular case, Treasury's claim is that Mr. Gandhi went out of the country, defamed the country, and hence they were demanding an apology, much as just as you were demanding a JPC into one particular business's affairs.
Fine. Whether he defamed the country or not is a point of view. It's not a judgment delivered by the Treasury benches. That's the Treasury's point of view. We have an exactly opposite point of view. He did not defame the country. In fact, there are occasions when the Prime Minister of this country, the Honorable Prime Minister, has gone out of the country and said, people in India are asking what sin did we commit in the previous birth that we are born Indian. He said that. Nobody asked for his apology, be that as it may. The Treasury has a point of view. The opposition, including the Congress, has a different point of view. Debate it. Let the people judge whether the remarks made by Mr. Rahul Gandhi in England requires an apology. Let the people judge. How can you be judge, jury, and prosecutor? The Treasury bench says, I'm prosecuting you for defaming the country. I'm the jury. I will be the judge. I've pronounced a verdict that you must apologize. Please apologize. What kind of parliamentary tradition or parliamentary rule is that? Debate it.
That's fine. But they say, to begin with, the opposition itself was not allowing a debate.
No, that's not correct.
You were obstructing the parliament with the demand of a JPC.
In the second session of the budget session, the second leg of the budget session, from day one, the obstruction and the noise is started by the Treasury benches, even at 11:00 hours. I was there and I saw the leader of the House stand up and start speaking in a loud voice, and everybody joined the chorus. The second leg of the budget session.
Mr. Chidambaram, now let me come back to a little more pertinent topic for now, because this is something that has happened in the last 72 hours or so, or maybe 96 hours or so. I read your column in the Indian Express today, and you argue a point that this is nothing but silencing of the critics, silencing of the democracy. Similar argument has, as I said, one of the national dailies said that, the government should look in the mirror. Now, my point is, Mr. Chidambaram, that this is not happening for the first time. Other members of parliament, maybe equally illustrious or maybe taller leaders like Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav, have been convicted and debarred for contesting elections. Why make so much noise about only Mr. Rahul Gandhi?
Yeah, there is a difference. I'm not commenting on the merits of Mr. Lalu Yadav's case. I can't.
There may be difference, but the law remains the same.
No, the law is not the same.
How?
I'll tell you why. Mr. Yadav was accused of a corruption charge. He went through a trial, and in that trial, he was convicted, and he served a prison sentence, and he's come out. There are other cases. This is a case of an alleged defamatory statement. It's not flagrante delicto, as we say. You've not caught with your hand on the till or in the act. This is an alleged defamation. The magistrate...
The alleged defamation has now been confirmed by a conviction.
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
By the lowest tier of the district judiciary.
Right. Accepted.
Yeah. But that court itself has stayed the sentence.
Right.
Now, whether it did so because of precedent or because it had self-doubt about its judgment, I can't say. But rightly or wrongly, the court itself has stayed its sentence and has clearly paved the way for an appeal. Right? Now, we say what Mr. Gandhi said was not defamatory. That's the defense of the defense lawyer. It has to be decided by an appellate court, isn't it?
But one court of law has decided, Mr. Chidambaram.
But that very court stayed the sentence. Why? The court could have said, sorry, I'm not staying the sentence. You go and appeal and get the sentence stayed.
He's given you procedurally 30 days to appeal for against the sentence.
You're mixing up two things. As a matter of course, if the sentence is less than 3 years, you must grant bail. So the bail is not a matter of discretion. the staying the sentence is a matter of discretion. Why did the magistrate who found him guilty stay his own sentence? Please look at the legal and the legal implications of that. Maybe he had some self-doubt about this judgment. Maybe he thought that he may be right, he may be wrong, let it go to a higher court. So he stayed his sentence. This was on the 23rd of March. You rush to disqualify him on the 24th of March? I mean, Usain Bolt will be awestruck by this speed. 23rd of March at about 10:30 or 11 o'clock, the sentence was pronounced. And on the 24th of March, you disqualify him.
But the government's claim is that the Lily Thomas judgment leaves nothing to chance.
Sorry.
It says that you are automatically disqualified. It's just a matter of procedure.
Please. Lily Thomas did not decide who can disqualify. Please read the Lily Thomas judgment again. I think my friend Dr. Singhvi explained it. Lily Thomas simply said Section 8, subsection 4 is unconstitutional. So it leaves only Section 8, subsection 3. And Section 8, subsection 3 says, shall be disqualified. That's all it says. Shall be disqualified if he is convicted and sentenced. The Supreme Court did not say who shall disqualify him. Is it the Election Commission? Is it the President of India? Is it the Speaker? Or is it the faceless Secretariat of the Lok Sabha? Now, in fact, even today I don't know who passed the notification on disqualification. It has come in the name of the Lok Sabha Secretariat. So Lily Thomas did not decide that question. Now, what was the great speed that this notification is published on the 24th? Anyway, 25 and 26 were holidays. You could have waited on 25 and 26, taken legal opinion. In fact, after the judgment of the magistrate, the reports that were emanating from the Lok Sabha Secretariat was, let the judgment come, the Speaker will consider it, he will take legal opinion, and then will decide the course of action. Now, all that happened in a trice.
So, the BJP's argument is that one of your other leaders, Mr. Pawan Kheda, was been picked up from a plane, from the tarmac itself, literally. You people rushed to a court of law,
yes,
got him relief,
yes,
and he continues to be out on the bail. In case of Mr. Gandhi, they say that under a deliberate ploy and a strategy of making him a martyr, you have not approached a court of law.
This is an absurd argument. Where is the time and the space to approach the higher court? The judgment was pronounced on the 23rd, which is a Thursday, and the judgment was uploaded sometime during the day. It's about 160 or 170 pages in Gujarati. Appellate court is the district court. Lawyers are in Delhi and in Gujarat. They have to read the judgment, confer and formulate the grounds of appeal. So for the lawyers in Delhi, it has to be translated. Let's assume all that was done overnight. Even then, the appeal can be lodged only on the 24th, which is a Friday. And why did you disqualify him on the 24th?
So on 24th, you should have lodged the appeal.
What is he's been disqualified. So if we lodge the appeal, it will come up on Monday. They will lodge the appeal.
So effectively, you are saying, Mr. Chidambaram, that there was no time and the government or the Secretariat of Lok Sabha ensured that you had no time to act. That's what effectively you are saying.
No, they ensured that we are presented with a fait accompli, that we have disqualified him. Look at the fate of the Lakshadweep MP. The High Court stayed it in 4 or 5 days. But in the meanwhile, they disqualified him. So you're presenting a fait accompli and saying, sorry, we have disqualified it. The High Court may have stayed the conviction, but we have disqualified you. And that is going on for the last 2 months. So the Lakshadweep MP, I believe, according to newspapers, has moved the Supreme Court. So the point is, this was, I don't know where this design came from, but it's clearly a part of a larger design to silence, as I said in my column, to silence one of the leading voices of the opposition. Now, but please examine that sentence a little more carefully. One by one, if you silence the voices of the opposition, firstly, many voices will fall silent on their own out of fear, apprehension. Many voices will be silenced. And what do you expect? In 2024, does the BJP playing 11 expects a football field where there's nobody on the other side and the goal post is open, unguarded, and you can score as many goals as you want? That's what they are aiming at. I am firmly of opinion, and everybody from Benjamin Franklin to Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln, Winston Churchill, everybody has said this. Indian leaders have said it. If you silence one voice, all our voices are to some extent silenced. It's not your liberty and my liberty. My liberty depends upon your liberty. If your liberty is curtailed, my liberty is also curtailed.
But then, Mr. Chidambaram, the fact of the matter is that any dispensation in power, even when you people were in power, your government was accused very, very strongly, even by your dear friend Mr. Arun Jaitley, of being arrogant.
Please.
Allow me to finish.
All right, go ahead.
Of being arrogant. When the numbers are stacked so disproportionately in the favor of any dispensation, I'm not talking this dispensation, that power does tend to get to your head. And many people have believed that authoritarianism, majoritarianism, do have they have a way of creeping into the systems. Now, you may accuse them of authoritarianism, majoritarianism. They say it's the will of the people of India. We've got the numbers behind us. And opposition today is only doing a politics of divisiveness, of appeasement, and and our way of governance and our way of approaching the problems of this nation are being backed by the people's mandate.
Go ahead, govern the nation in whichever way you want. But why are you silencing Parliament? See, of the House of Commons, it is said, even during the war, the House of Commons was never adjourned. It met every day, even when bombs were raining on the city of London. Robust language is part of politics. Your language, my language, somebody who's under different circumstances, his language, the language in a village chowk, a village panchayat, are very different. Robust language is the essence of political discourse. Have you seen the debates? Have you seen Prime Minister's question hour on Wednesday in the House of Commons? The robust language of the Leader of the Opposition and the Prime Minister. I've watched the proceedings of the Australian equivalent of the House of Commons. It's robust language. Now, if you are wilting lilies, that a robust language. Anyway, I don't want to comment on the exact sentence he said because that will be interpreted by higher court. But I remember a primer textbook on logic say, all crows are black does not mean all that is black are crows.
Agreed. But Mr. Chidambaram, surely nobody is going to like if his surname or his community's name is thrown up in the air and said, why are all of them thieves? Somebody turns around and say, why are all...
I think you're quoting the sentence wrongly. I have seen the transcript. Anyway, I won't go into it. In fact, I did not even know that Modi was a caste name. I thought the...
But people who have felt offended know that, right?
That the courts will take care of that. there are many nuances in the law of defamation. Section 499, Section 500, the exceptions. There are many, many nuances in 499 and 500, which would be inappropriate to debate here because it's legal overtones. And let the lawyers debate it and let the judges decide. But all I'm pointing out is it's not murder. In fact, defamation has two parts. One is slander, one is libel. Now, libel is the written word. Slander is the spoken word. And I have not come across, and I may be wrong, but yesterday, a retired, very high constitutional functionary told me that in his experience, he has never come across a case where for slander, maximum punishment of 2 years was imposed.
That's also an argument.
Do you have an example of that?
I agree, and many commentators have commented on that part in newspapers as well. I'll come to that legal part slightly later, Mr. Chidambaram, since you are a noted lawyer too. However, if, as the BJP says, a community, an OBC community, forget about even OBC for the moment, let's drop that. A community has been hurt. What's the harm in apologizing, Mr. Chidambaram? In our religion, and I'm sure religions across the world, it is said that, if you seek apology, your stature grows. You do not become a small man by apology. Mr. Gandhi, somehow to me it appears, has been so combative on not asking an apology or not seeking an apology, as if he thinks that, there is something wrong with seeking an apology. There's nothing wrong in seeking an apology.
Until this judgment came, nobody was saying that a community had been defamed. Nobody.
No, it was the case of the MLA.
That is the case.
Yeah,
that is the
he
case.
went to the court.
Until the judgment is delivered, the apology was asked for the remarks in England, not for this statement on Kolar in 2019, number one. Number two, as Kargeji pointed out today, I forsworn caste 65 years ago. Therefore, I don't believe in caste. I am very anti-caste. I don't accept caste labels. I don't recognize anybody's caste.
That's why I said, let's leave aside the caste.
Let's ask the question. Lalit Modi is not a OBC. Nirav Modi is not an OBC. If Lalit Modi and Nirav Modi were not offended,
no, they are fugitives of the law.
That is precisely the point. We are taking examples of fugitives of the law, and then you say the entire Modi community. I did not even know, honestly, I did not even know that Modi was a caste name.
Well, that's what Mr. Rahul Gandhi brought into the public domain by saying that why do all thieves have...
Did he mention the caste?
He mentioned Modi's surname.
He mentioned the surname, not a caste. Maybe...
But that's a slur.
Is it a caste? I don't know. Do you know?
I'm not too sure about whether...
The point is, you're not too sure about it.
Exactly.
Suddenly a surname has become...
But they say it's an OBC caste. BJP says
I don't know.
OBC...
I believe not in the list of castes. Anyway, this is according to me, futile exercise.
But my larger point was, Mr. Chidambaram, that what's the harm in seeking an apology if people feel they have been slandered?
You are mixing up two things. The apology was asked for remarks made in Delhi.
I'm saying in the court proceedings, he could have actually gone and said, okay, look here.
In the court proceedings, have you seen his evidence? He said, I had no intention to defame any caste. He said that. And suddenly a man, anyway, I don't want to comment more and more on the case. In the court proceedings, please look at Mr. Gandhi's evidence. He said, listen, it was a rhetorical question in answer to somebody's question. I had no intention to defame anyone, much less the complainant. He said all that in the court.
Now, Mr. Chidambaram, BJP says that, your party actually played along or orchestrated this disqualification because you want to make him a martyr ahead of the Karnataka election.
Yes, I agree. I agree. We asked Mr. Purnesh Modi to file the complaint 3 days after the Kolar speech in Surat. We, in fact, told the judge, please drag this delay for a trial for a long time. We, in fact, sent word to the High Court judge, please stay the trial until the last but 1 year of the Modi government. And then we requested the judge to impose the maximum punishment of 2 years. And we also told the Lok Sabha Secretariat, please disqualify us in 24 hours. I agree with you.
I get the pun, but you're not answering the question. You know, are you trying to take political mileage out of this?
What is the political mileage? You have handed over a political issue for debate by getting the prosecutor or the complainant demand and get the maximum punishment imposed under law. And then your Lok Sabha Secretariat or whoever, the authority, I don't know, within 24 hours, what we call haste post haste, you disqualify. Now, if this is not a political issue, then what are we in politics for? This is a political issue. You have made it a political issue by silencing one of the leading voices of the democratic opposition. And my fear is, my prediction is, they will try to silence more voices, one by one.
Now, let us accept that argument. Then the point in Mr. Chidambaram is that opposition still has a considerable space in this country, over 200 member of parliament in the House Lok Sabha. Why can't the opposition of this country get to a level where it is in a position to reasonably stall what opposition would dub as government's whim and fancy? Why can't you people either collectively or Congress party, as the party which has a pan-India presence, raise itself in the eyes of the people to regain the confidence of the people and ensure that there is a strong bulwark against the government? Because they say that the strength of a democracy lies in a strong opposition.
But we are trying to speak.
That's all right, but politically...
Please understand, Parliament is the place for speech, which is why there is an article of the Constitution which says anything said in Parliament, anything, I can say the extreme things in Parliament, nobody can be called in question for what he says in Parliament.
Yes.
That is the only place in the country, not even the courts, where you can say anything and you can't be asked why you said that. You can expunge under some rule, but otherwise you can't. Parliament is intended to be a place for speech. And we are trying to speak, and you don't allow us to speak. You drown us. You drown our voices by shouting louder. And there was an episode where for 18 or 20 minutes the mics were silenced, and somebody explained it, and a very sympathetic journalist put it out as a technical glitch. Whatever. The point is, allow us to speak. We will debate, you will debate, and then we will decide. People will decide. But I can understand a debate ending in some noise and sound and fury. But a debate doesn't start because there is only sound and fury. Why don't you debate? Why doesn't Mr. Goel, the leader of the House, and the leader of the House and the other House, Lok Sabha, stand up and start the debate? Start the debate that this remarks in England were bad, or why don't you start the debate? There is a member of Parliament who has been convicted by a magistrate court, so we want to discuss the status of OBCs. You raise any debate. Every debate that we raise, at least as far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned, the similar situation of the Lok Sabha, under Rule 267, every notice, I'm not mincing words, every notice is rejected. How can it be? There are no matters of public no matters of urgent public importance in this country which need to be debated? Why have the rule? Who made the rule? We made the rule. The members made the rule. The members acknowledged that there will be matters of urgent public importance which have to be raised at 11 o'clock, setting aside the listed business for the day. And therefore we made the rule. But we've been trying for the last 6 months, according to Derek O'Brien, for 6 or 7 or 8 months, not one notice under Rule 267 has been allowed by the presiding officer. Are we to believe and lead to the conclusion that there's no matter of urgent public importance in this country? What about the Chinese incursions? What about unemployment? What about inflation? No matter of urgent public importance? How can it be?
Mr. Chidambaram, let me come to my final question with you, for today at least. You say all of these matters are of great public import, and you are not being allowed to take them up in Parliament because probably the Treasury thinks that they are not matters of great importance, or they find them inconvenient. Why not take them to public? You have general elections coming up. Congress is a grand old party of this country. As I said, you have presence all across the country. Why not? Why can't the Congress party put up a credible opposition or a credible alternative to Mr. Modi to get to a number where the party itself becomes, its presence becomes respectable, and the strength comes back to the opposition benches where the government is actually forced to take it more seriously? Parliament is one forum. But why can't you convince the public of this country to give Congress at least respectable numbers?
Why do you think I'm speaking to you? Now, this is part of the communication with the people. I can speak in English, I can speak in Tamil. When I go back to Tamil Nadu, I will address press conferences, I will address public meetings, and I'm sure other members of the Congress party are doing that in their own sphere, district or state. But please remember, there is an imbalance today. The opposition parties are relatively, singly, you count them singly, they're relatively weaker than the BJP. In fact, I called the BJP in an interview as a formidable leviathan today. But where we are strong, we will speak. There is no doubt about it. Please don't think that we will not write, we will not speak, we will not address public meetings. Be that as it may, the one forum created by the Constitution for free speech is now stifled and silenced. We might as well lock the doors of Parliament.
That's a strong charge you make, Mr. Chidambaram, and I am sure BJP will come back with equally stronger words.
No, they can use strong words. Hard words don't break bones. I'm not hitting anyone with a stick or a stone. I'm only saying if the one forum which was envisaged by the constitution makers for free, unfettered speech, if the opposition is not allowed to speak. Remember, there was a time when there were only 2 members of the BJP in Parliament, yet they were allowed a complete freedom to speak. Remember, 60 years ago, it was not an opposition member, it was a gentleman by name Mr. Gandhi. Mr. Gandhi stood up and said, and he faced the Prime Minister who was immensely popular at that time and virtually uncrowned king of the democratic India. He stood up and said, I demand an investigation into this. What was the issue? I'm not taking names. Rupees 1 crore 14 lakhs. Mark the number. 1 crore 14 lakhs, which LIC had invested in some company. Now, he was not even an opposition member, he was a ruling party member. His name was also Mr. Gandhi. He was allowed to speak. He was allowed to...
Many say with the blessings of the dispensation he spoke.
No, 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 no.
Many say that.
Please remember, the then finance minister was a very close confidant and associate of the then prime minister. And the eventual result of that inquiry was that the then finance minister had to resign. It was a terrible blow to the government that a finance minister had to resign. Be that as it may, all I'm pointing out is the bottom line is this: the one forum created by the Constitution for free, unfettered speech, today we cannot speak. Please explain that to me as consistent with democracy.
Thank you, Mr. Chidambaram. Thank you very much for speaking to us.